All right.
Yes.
Well, recording in progress. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. I hope we get a lot of people who are interested in this. This is a really excellent opportunity. I'm so grateful, Rebecca, for you taking the time out of, I know, your busy schedule to talk to us about how to build our brand and how to build out and expand our community and our go-to-market strategy. This is something that is so important when you're doing a startup. And I really appreciate that you've got all of this experience and that you're willing to share it with us.
Yes.
Becca, go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Thank you so much.
Welcome,
Okay.
Rhinus.
So hello, everybody. Let's get to it because I know that you are all excited because everybody talking about brand, everybody's talking about community, and you're thinking, how is this gonna affect and how is this gonna be relevant for my small business? Now, we know that information is abundant, attention is scarce, right? Branding becomes then the arbitrage opportunity for small businesses because large corporations, they have the money to spend millions and millions on ads. We, as small business owners, can't. But here's the information paradox. Consumers who are drowning in content, they are actually starving for connection. Just exactly why you are all here this evening, because you want to belong in a community and you want to share your burden, you want to share your frustration with your fellow business owners, right? So these days, this is what the trust economy looks like. That 92% consumers trust recommendation from individuals over brands. So those large corporations investing in paid ads, now that we have community, we have social media, we have Web3, we have AI, now we are almost, not exactly, but almost in the same playing field. Now, as a challenger brand or as an independent brand, you still can stand a chance to maybe if you have your own independent vegan ethical toothpaste, you can compete with the likes of Colgate. 10 years ago, you probably wouldn't, right? So now this is the arbitrage window. The small business that moves faster, takes risk, and build genuine relationship. That small business can build powerful brand at minimal cost. Now, visible and authentic founders gain disproportionate impact through storytelling, community, and partnership. And for context, I want you to also know who I am. So I call myself the personal brand final boss because, like in any game, you can imagine there's so many nooks and crannies, there's so many challenges, there's so many obstacles in building your personal brand. And I believe I have at least most of all the challenges that one could have. One, I'm not a Gen Z, so social media is not native to me. English is not my first language. I'm a mother of three. That's already put off a lot of corporate to even want to hire me. And I'm a brown immigrant. So there's another layer of like a prescription on how to say no.
Of
So all of
challenges
yeah,
that you
exactly. So all of these um challenges that basically I'm not your typical entrepreneur, I'm not your typical marketer. When I first moved to this country, I knew exactly zero person. I moved to England from Indonesia in year 2020, the year where everything shuts down. So the first 2 years of my life here, it was lockdown, literal lockdown. Like, welcome to England, y'all. So I had, so when people say they start from zero, I think I started from minus. Um, so I want to tell you the story because I built my own personal brand in a new country with all those baggage behind me, brick by brick, and I built everything organically. So I want to be able to tell you that it is very much possible for you to do this without investing so much money onto, oh, Rebecca, does it mean I have to hire an Instagram manager? No, it doesn't. And this is how we're going to talk about today, this evening. And you are very welcome to ask me anything from philosophical questions like, Rebecca, how do I separate my personal life with my online life, to practical things like, Rebecca, how do I make my LinkedIn post engaging? Because I think it's full of meat, but nobody is responding. I can answer all of that questions at any point. You can just leave me the questions in the chat, just in case something pops up and I'm in the middle of yapping. Okay, so now I want to tell you the good news about the compounding effect of brand. And this is how a lot of people back way back when people were still very much doubtful with investing in brand because it's the hardest thing to measure. It's almost like measuring love, right? Because
That's a great analogy.
exactly. So how do you measure love? Is it like by the amount of stems of roses that you give me, right? Is it by the kilos of chocolate you give me, or is it by the, even like in the campaign of, if you remember back way back when, diamond was actually not popular for marriage, for wedding, for proposals. But then De Beers made that massive campaign, and they even made it, there's just a so evil genius. They made it so that the minimum amount of your engagement ring should be 3 times of your salary. If you remember that campaign, it's so crazy, right? And
Ah,
and that is and people lap it up. Like, who made this thing up, right? If
right.
it's not the brand evil genius behind De Beers. So again, um, who can measure brand? Because similar to love, because brand is a very emotional thing. You can ask any Apple users, iPhone, MacBook, you can ask them, like, why are you an Apple user? They cannot answer any technical thing that oh, because Apple has ABCD versus Samsung's ABCD. Usually it is because they love the brand and then they justify it with, yeah, because Apple has so many features, this and that. So brand is a very emotional thing. That's why I equate it with love, because, you know, it's deeper than just liking. It's just like, oh, I cannot really justify it. And because of that, this is the compounding effect that you can directly measure against the revenue that you can get. You can call your own pricing. Again, MacBook, we know Apple computer is the most overpriced gadget in the whole world. We know that. And people has not stopped buying it. Has not. And it's just like the math is not mathing. If you really calculate the intrinsic value, right? Um, if
That's a
we
really good point. Yeah,
yeah,
because if it's something that we value, we'll pay anything for it.
yeah.
We'll pay for it. Yeah.
And you cannot explain like why. The why you cannot explain. I just love it, right?
Right.
And it's just it. Um, I mean, look at designer brands, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
bags, leather versus leather bag. Okay. What? Was the cow different in their lifetime? One is a Wagyu cow. Um, you know, because the pricing is really so stark. It's not even because as soon as you have a brand, it makes your product or services something of a much higher value, and it moves you into a category of non-commodity, right? Whatever that you're selling right now, as, if you don't have a brand, you are just a commodity. It can be an ice cream, it can be a web development, it can be an app, it can be whatever. If you don't have a brand, it's a commodity, and with commodity, you will always then just fight on price until somebody in China make it better and cheaper, right?
So, how do we brand? You're going to tell us.
Exactly. Exactly. So now this is why small businesses has an advantage, right? So you see, you are uniquely positioned to win in a sense that remember that brand is about emotion. And because we are small businesses, we have that emotional connection. We can be authentic, we can be vulnerable. God forbid, those big brands, they are showing that one of their bosses are experiencing, I don't know, pregnancy loss, or their parents are having chronic diseases. So it's so strange to be discussing about that, but when it's us, it's we are the founder. We are a team of 10. It is so much easier and more relatable, and people are like, "Oh, I too have this kind of problem." So the community first mindset over the transactional thinking, that is how we're going to build our brand as small business owners, right? So that's one thing. And secondly, now that we have access, free access to multi-platform, literally anything, right?
Mm.
That is now we have to change our mindset around that too. I'm from a generation where, oh, um, if I have a business, if I have a small business, I have to save so much money to be able to buy like a 10 by 4 centimeter advert on newspaper, right? And that newspaper by next week will be what?
Yeah.
Will be scrap paper, right? It will
Yeah.
be pulp.
It'll
And
be
now,
used for the dog to.
exactly. And now you can post as long, as creative, as funny, as serious, as quirky, and as often as you want without paying any amount of money that is comparable to how much money we had to spend to, back then, when you want to advertise on radio, it is by the 15-second increment. That is how much you have to buy, right? And you have to commit. It's not just like, hey, can I buy one slot? Right? And these days, you can post 15-second video as many times as you want, ad nausea, right? So now, if we see it as a small business owner, if we see the opportunity with the mindset of gratefulness, how, oh my God, I don't have to like pay a production company to produce my TV commercial, then we have the mindset of more of like a child that has a ream of blank paper. You can create as many. You can make mistakes. You can do something, show it. If the audience doesn't like it, start over, you know? Because before, we had to be super precious because, again, back then, even our camera has a limited amount of film. We have to really be posing perfectly before we click because it's limited. because it's scarce. Now, genuinely, every single day you can create anything, and then you see it as a lab, as an experiment, because then you have opportunities to produce as many content as you like until that one that really lands with your actual target. And that is how you have unlocked your brand, like that
But
particular
but
thing.
don't you have the problem of if it's too, I don't know, stupid or inane or too much information
Mhm.
that it causes people to run away from your, I mean, how are you engaging?
Yeah.
How do you build it? I mean, yes,
No,
we
good
can do
question.
trial and error, but sooner or later everybody's going to go, there's no way I'm looking at her feed anymore.
Well, the first filter is definitely yourself, like who you are as an owner, as a brand. What is the actual value? Because that is the first filter, right? For example, that you definitely will not go away so further away from your core values. Now, as soon as you are loyal to your own core values and whatever experiment you have is still within that, and if anyone is put off by something that is still within your value realm, then it's good. Then they don't share the same value as yours. Then good riddance, right? So
All
because
right.
genuinely, right? That is your, I mean, I don't think Chanel ever have any problem with people being put off by their brand, right? But
That's
they
true.
have their but as long as it's still within their value system, their value is, like preppy, whatever. I'm not I'm not an expert on Chanel, but you know,
Not your bailiwick.
I'm not their target audience either. um, but you see, and you will see the certain type of people who would wear Chanel, right? um, and And it's not right or wrong. It's just whether or not you're right for them. That's the thing. It's like between Apple and Samsung, it's not right or wrong. It's not one is better or not. It's just like which one that is more me, you
Mm,
know? So yeah, putting off people, again, as long as you're loyal to your own core values is good because you do want to repel those who are not your ideal client or customer. Because here's the thing, even if our price point match their price point, they will be what is the opposite of ideal? They would be a nightmare client. They would be a nightmare customer because they will always find something wrong with your product or your service because it doesn't gel. So you also want to avoid this type of customers anyway, right? They will always find fault. Secondly, your question about whether it's too silly or too out there, this is um, this is exactly how you are going to push yourself, really, because let me tell you, I just genuinely, I can show you the WhatsApp, genuinely, 30 minutes ago, I had a potential client looking at my website, and my website has a meme. And if I'm targeting certain type of people that is serious and corporate and whatever, that would absolutely put them off. And just now, she just messaged me and say, "Oh my God, Rebecca, I love that you have a meme on your homepage." That's one.
and that's the kind of client you want.
Exactly. And like, I
Yeah.
want the client that would appreciate my humor as well, because if they appreciate my
Mm,
humor, and humor is based on logic, they will understand my logic as well when I'm providing them with strategy, right? And secondly, and this is the second proof that whatever experiments that you do, it will still land no matter how outlandish it is. So I analyzed my LinkedIn So I have almost 10K followers on LinkedIn, and my followers are head of HR, CEOs, founders, and the likes. My best performing content on my LinkedIn is a meme. I kid you not. Like, so it's like, oh my God, I put so much like thought into building such an esoteric carousel and such thoughtful, thought pieces. And my
Hmm.
best performing, I'll probably share it. I'll forward it to you sometime, Martha. You would absolutely love it because my best performing content is meme. So, and genuinely, that's what I also am known best among my best friends. Like all I do day and night is sending them memes and reels to my friends. So I'm like, okay, so why do I need to even try to pretend to be this somebody else where me just being me actually land to certain people who would then be the best type of client for me, right?
So
So,
how
and
much time do you spend? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but how
no,
much
it's okay.
time do you spend on social media? Or
Me personally, because I'm a marketer, it's uncomparable. If you see my phone statistics, I spend up to 8 hours on my phone. So do not try this
oh,
at home.
oh my. Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah, I'm not doing
Because
that.
it's almost like if you ask a web developer how much time do you spend on the screen, it's because,
Mm,
and if you ask a chef, how long do you spend time in the
in the
kitchen?
kitchen.
So it is
Right,
my
right.
so it is my kitchen, so it is incomparable. However, what I would say to my clients is like this: be intentional. For example, you already have limited amount of time, right?
Right.
So make it into your schedule, because if it doesn't come natural to you, make it into your schedule. For example, every lunchtime, you can eat your sandwich while you browse on social media. And while you browse, again, be intentional. Browse your competition or the people that you admire, the North Star of your business, um, the people who are in your industry, your peers. So be intentional with your browsing time. And then once a week, you also dedicate about half a day for production. And this is if you do it yourself. If you don't have a team member or a freelancer to help you, you have to dedicate at least 4 hours in one day, in one sitting. And the reason why I say in one sitting is just so that you can do it and forget it. And plus, you're in
Mm.
that frame of mind where you're creating. And thirdly, especially when you're like me, I like to put my face on, like I put on makeup when I produce content. At least you only have to put on your face once.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, genuinely, I'm like, I put on my face once and I changed my top. At least I produced already so many videos. Yeah, I changed my top, I changed my earrings, I changed my lipstick, and that's it. So yeah, so that's how I do it. And now within the age of AI, it's even easier. So you could, so the way I build my cadence is that I train my AI. I said, okay, every day if I give you a link to an article, this is what I want you to do for me. I want you to read the article and I want you to see it from this particular point of view, which is my point of view as a feminist, as a business owner, as a personal brand strategist. And I tell them, of course, who my audience is, which is female, millennials, and Gen Xers. And then um, and I want you to give me two options of LinkedIn posts based on the article that I sent you. So now every time
Mm.
I see something that is of interest. For example, the rise of fractional executive in the workforce. And I read it
Hmm.
on Forbes, for example.
Hmm.
And I put the link into my AI, and it will churn out two different angle, a hot take, or what does this mean to my audience. So as soon as you already have trained your AI, you can
Hmm.
really have a shortcut and literal shorthand with you and your AI. Funnily enough, I still have a job, meaning there are still humans out there who prefer to work with human instead of AI.
Instead of AI.
Um, and that is exactly how we work. So my client would text me either an article or something they just read, or even something they just experienced. Like, hey, Rebecca, you know what? I just had the conversation with this guy, da 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 da. And then, so they kind of upload that onto me, and
Uh-huh.
and then I would reply saying, "Oh, you know what? Because I already know her target audience and I already know her short-term goal. Like, oh, I know that you're having an event in the summer. Why don't we spin this story to fit your narrative this way?"
Hmm.
Yes.
So,
So
and you do that because that's what you do,
yes,
and
because
you
that is my
don't.
profession.
That's your profession. That's you don't put that into the AI and then give it to them. You just do that
So
because you're capable
yes,
of doing that.
yes, because I've been doing this before ChatGPT was born, right? Um,
Whoa.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was a trained journalist. I'm always in tune
Ah.
of finding angles and stories and how to story tell and
Mm.
how to fit, like if this post every time I design a post, I always need to know like where does this post stand in the grand scheme of things of your pipeline, of your sales, because you don't post for the sake of posting, right? It's like even all of my memes, they all still have a job. Um, so entertaining as they are, they usually would invoke an emotion that makes people think about their personal brand. Because again, that's my industry. So every time I work with clients, it depends on what their industry is. And for example, and my clients are they are investors, they're VC, they're lawyers, they're all serious stuff.
Right.
But we always manage to make it personal because even that they have all these great professions, they still are humans serving other humans. So that is always the one that I try to find a through line. And this is
Mm.
why, like I put it in the on the last bullet point here, underdog narrative can translate into compelling brand story. So because I work with women, the fact that we're women, we're almost automatically our underdog, right? And
Often, yes.
yeah, um,
I think
every
you
time,
win.
every time it's a high stake and high paying something, we're the underdog. Um,
Right.
So, so that is a lot of the times that's the angle that I play. Not because I'm selling sob stories, but more because people do relate with the rag to riches, with the David versus Goliath story,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So that is always the angle that I play with. And now, what I would also love you to learn is this one, the foundation and visibility. So, as I mentioned, you cannot betray your core brand values. But then you have to first find out what it is, right? So find your core brand values and your story, your founder story. This is like what will what will they write on your memoir, right? So we've read probably KFC memoir, Starbucks and the likes, all these great um brands. Now, if they were writing your memoir, what would they write? And what would you also allow them to write? Because this is your story, you don't have to reveal everything. It's your memoir. It's not the tabloid, right? It's not about gossip. It's not about sharing what you're not comfortable to share. It's about what you want to present to the world as well. Like you know this your origin story. As an aside, I'm actually now preparing a custom AI that would help you tell your story. So this AI that I'm training is I'm training it to ask questions like how I would ask my client questions.
Mm,
Because my background is in journalism, I'm like I've spent the last 20 years interviewing people, right? So I know
right.
how to ask question, I know how to bring it out. So I'm now transferring that into my little chat bot. So I will share it with you if you want to be one of my beta testers, Martha.
Yes, I think I would like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be absolutely useful. You basically you put in what you want, what you're prepared to tell,
Uh-huh.
and then the AI will produce you with like um in a well, you put in the ingredients, the AI will cook it and present a dish that that is not only palatable but actually desirable, right? Like, ooh, I want to try this, you know?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So yeah. So you can, rudimentarily, you can do this in with any language model anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But you can from there, you develop 5 to 7 content pillars that is aligned with your subject matter expertise and also what your audience needs. Because it's so boring to read everything that you know with your expertise, but we don't need to know.
Right,
Right?
right.
So have that. And then you post consistently. If with your budget and your time you can only post once a week, then post once a week. I'm not that type of social media guru that tell you 3 times a week minimum. No, because what I don't want small business owners to experience is a burnout and then you're put off forever and then,
Right.
right? So if you can only commit once a week, do once a week. It's just like going to the gym. Nobody likes it. I promise you. Nobody likes it, nobody wants it, but we know that even if you give the bare minimum, it's a lot better than nothing at all. It's a lot better than you do your January sprint and then by February you cancel your membership. I
Right,
know I
right.
do that. Um,
Every year.
exactly. And the next question that people always ask me is like, but what do I share, Rebecca? And this is it. This is the prescription. Share your insights, share your behind the scenes, and share your customer success stories. All those three stuff is it. Like I can produce a whole book about it, but it boils down to your insights about your industry, about your subject matter expertise, behind the scenes. People always want to see behind the scenes because people want to deal with humans, remember? Right? They want to see you taking a selfie in front of your, small factory or whatever it is. They want to see it. And if you think people want to see it, yes, the answer is yes. We are all nosy people. Of any culture, we're just nosy. Any culture and any generation, we're nosy. So if you ask, Whether or not people want to see you behind the scene, the answer is yes. And of course, customer success stories. So the customer success stories is the one piece of content that is absolutely going to then convert your audience into paying customer. Because what is better promotion than giving a sample, right? We've all
Right.
seen it. You give sausages samples in the farmer's market. You show before and after picture of your client. That is the best marketing tool ever, right? So your
Right.
portfolio, your before and after that. So those three things. It's I'm not gonna make it more complicated or make it sound more sophisticated than that. Okay. And then, of course, talking about community, build your community of your users. So whether you have a roofing business, whether you have, whether you are a makeup artist, build your little free community of, make it like a hobby community. You nerd out about something that is, within your niche and make it free. In this economy, just make it free. Like like what I'm doing this evening is one of the things that I do to host AMA. Ask me anything. I
Right.
do this regularly with a lot of communities because I get something out of it, you get something out of it. What I get out of it is first, I actually test out my material. For example, like today, I prepared, I think, 10 slides, and then I can measure, okay, I think 10 slides for an hour session is too long, and so on. So you are my guinea pigs, sorry to say.
Well, but you're doing it for free. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the thing. So we scratch each other's back, right?
Right.
And of
Right.
course, if you do find the session useful, at the very least, you will think of me as, oh, that Rebecca, she knows what she's talking about,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's it. And you know how hard it is these days, again, to even build. As I said, I build my personal brand brick by brick. This is just another brick on my personal brand,
Your personal brand.
castle
Yeah.
because and you do the same. And imagine if everybody is sharing their expertise for free to everybody else, and we are all gonna be better off as a whole, right?
Right. Right.
So that is like my, you know, maybe some people will, oh, that is such a commie thing to say. But yeah, whatever. I love community.
Right. Right.
Uh,
And that's something that Chat GPT cannot do.
yes,
I mean, it
exactly.
might be able to AI might be able to help with community, but really, I mean, community is from people.
Exactly. And all of this, what I just said to you, AI can synthesize it for you, but it won't be as entertaining as listening to me this evening, I promise you. Right?
Th-
So,
Does it super annoy you when the AI tells you what it wants you to say? And I said, no, that's not what I want to say.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. But now like it's so my AI is almost like my domesticated dog now. Now it knows me like I'm like, okay, good boy. Um, and now on the interesting bit, I did mention we scratch each other's back, we give free advice, free sessions. But now this, I want you also to know that monetization is also not something um, that is impossible to also do alongside. So I mentioned free community, free group, free sessions. However, if your expertise can be productized, you can also alongside. So for example, if my book was already written, And if my AI product was already done, this evening, I have to say, I will encourage you to buy my book, for example, right?
Sure, yes.
And if you do think my session this evening is useful, in your mind, you'll be like, oh my God, this free session is useful. I can only imagine how useful her book would be,
Right, right.
right? So again, when you do all of this, it's just a sample. This is like I'm selling the whole album, but you can hear the sample on the radio, like,
Right.
wow, there's this one hit, and I want to listen to the rest of the album. So this, what I'm sharing with you this evening, is just one chapter of my book. So if again, if my book is done, which isn't, I would be selling you my book right now. So this is just giving you an idea. You can sell a digital product, a template, a checklist, or like a more premium membership of your community, or more tailored workshop, consulting, whatever it is. Once you have built your brand and your community and your following, then you can monetize alongside your main business. And you know what? That would be such a good way of giving you a little bit more cash flow, you know, a couple of hundred quids every month that won't hurt anyone. And 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 secondly, that could actually be the entry point of your real actual business. Like, if I'm luring you this evening to buy my book, and then you buy my book, and then by the time you finish the book, you're like, you know what? I will just hire Rebecca, right? So from you buying my book for £10 for one book, maybe then you'll commit to, actually, I don't mind paying Rebecca £1,000 a month to do my brand.
To help.
So
Yeah.
that could be your gateway drug to your bigger business. But this whole thing, is your that's why I said it is your moat, your arbitrage, because this is what big corporations don't do. They just build and they put money behind it and they distribute and sell. And it's suddenly in every Tesco near you, right? We don't have that. We don't have that machine, that we don't have that engine. So that's why we have to build it brick by brick. But as soon as people are um, entranced, as soon as people are uh, enamored, again, because it's brand is like love, they will never go and find other vendors, other product, unless they have like an actual, like, unless your brand has done something that put them off for life. If you've made a mistake, or suddenly, again, if there's no like force majeure, once they are hooked with your brand, that is it. The lifetime value of this long-time customer is going to be worth all the effort, all the you taking a selfie, all the, all the cringe stuff that you. So the bottom line is, as I mentioned, branding is not about vanity. It's a strategic asset. It genuinely is. It's hard to build. It's easy to destroy, right?
Yeah.
Attention and trust are scarce. So once you get it, treasure that. And again, consistency and courage. Of course, it takes a lot of courage to even take a selfie, That is the only real investment. Like, oh, that is again like going to the gym. And again, this is my ad. Your brand is your moat. Start building it today. And with that, I thank you so much. And I'm
Thank
happy to
you.
answer any more questions you have this evening.
So when I first saw that, when you were saying consistency and courage, I wasn't sure what you meant by courage, but you're right. When I post, I almost never post a picture of me.
Mhm. I know.
That's there's where I'm perhaps lacking in courage, and maybe I should work
Yeah,
on that. That's an
yeah,
opportunity for growth for me. Thank you.
100%. And here's what I can tell you as well. You may think, oh, Rebecca, it's easy for you to say, you're so confident, etc. But let me tell you, let the record show. 3 years ago, every time I put out a video of me, I had to have a filter on, like a TikTok filter,
Hmm.
because I hated how I looked. I promise you. You can still
Wow.
see, if you scroll back to my old
To
post,
your
you
old
will be
ones.
able to see how my face was like. You, you and I, we can laugh about it today because at the time it's like, oh my goodness, Rebecca, how foolish. But I tell you, at the time, that was the only way I was able to show up. I
Hmm.
had my own issues, you know,
Right. Right.
and I had my own growing and personal development to go through. And I was already 40 years old. I'm not like a teenager with, self-esteem issues. But, the online game, especially with me having an inferiority complex, seeing that, oh my God, these people, they have long blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm none like that. So I had my own thing, and I got over it, obviously. But I'm just telling you, this doesn't come naturally. This,
That's
I hope that's encouraging.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. That I'm really glad you put that in there because yes, there's a lot to be said for courage and for and I took notes and you started with the idea of being true to yourself.
Yes,
And here we are, we've come back. And again, be true to yourself and and be brave about putting yourself out there and
yes,
being to be who you are. And then at least that's this, I think perhaps what you're saying is the first step to being able to attract the kind of clients that you want and the kind of following that you
100%.
really want to have.
Yes. Well, one last note before we close. If you ever feel like you don't belong on social media, you don't think your face is good enough, or you're like me, I have a weird accent. People cannot even, where are you from, Rebecca? And I so whatever flaw you think you have, now think of those who are elected office, okay? Those with actual titles, look at what they look like. Okay? They don't belong in any magazine cover at all. They all look so strange and misshapen, and God forbid, if you meet them in person, you probably will be like, huh? This is your face? So I tell you, if those people got the job, got elected, you deserve to be where you are.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Rebecca. And thanks so much for your time this evening. And I'm going to stop recording.